Welcome to The Oracle Scroll, a podcast for the spiritual seeker. Please join me, Kevin Walder, your host, as we explore living a spiritual life in a very mixed up world. We are privileged to have Shaman Kam lead us on a shamanic journey. Kam will take us on a journey to meet our animal guides that can support us right now on our path. She assists others through journey work to help them let go of blocks and stuck energies. And she also draws on the wisdom of the shamanic medicine cards to elevate the depth of truth that is waiting to be revealed. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kam and let her continue to show us what her shamanic journey is all about. There you go, Kam.
Can you hear me all?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good. So, journeying to me is, I do it all different ways. I can do it by meditation. I can do it by drumming. I can do it in my sleep, when I'm walking. It's all forms of just being able to center yourself and ask questions and get answers that you're needing. And for tonight, what I'm going to do is take you on a drumming journey. So, Kevin's asked me to do this. I'm not a very good public speaker, but I told him I'd go ahead and give it a big shot and see what I can do and how I can help people. But tonight, what I want to do is see if there's a spirit animal out there that is there to help you in your life, unblock anything, see if there's a life issue you need to help with, or just hang out and have fun with. There's a lot of times when I journey just to meet my guides and sit and talk with them, or just hang out, or do anything. A lot of the journey that I do is an underworld journey. I have gone to the upper world. Midworld's okay. It can get a little trickier. But tonight, what we're going to try to do is it's going to be kind of in between a underworld and midworld journey, because we're going to sit around a fire pit and do our journeying. And before we start our journey, and I know a lot of you know how to ground, but I do want to make sure that we do a grounding, that we're centered and ready for what is going to come up tonight. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay, is we'll go ahead and start journeying and get ourselves set up to go out and journey. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So the first thing we're going to do to start our journey is we're going to ground ourselves. So we're going to send a grounding cord from the bottom of our spine down into the center of Mother Earth. And we're going to anchor that into Mother Earth. And we're going to drink her energy back up through that grounding cord and put it into our heart center. Then we're going to shoot a beam of light up through our crown chakra, out to Father Sky. And we're going to bring that back down, and we're going to put it back into our heart center with Mother Earth. And these two are going to keep us grounded and centered to what we need tonight. And what we're going to do is we're going to start journeying, and we're going to walk down a path onto a wooden bridge. And as we cross the wooden bridge, we're going to see a fire pit. You're going to notice there's 7 seats around the fire pit. The 7 seats represents the 7 nations. We're going to take a seat around the fire pit, and we're going to have the fire transport us to another realm. There we will ask our spirit animal, if an animal comes up to you, you're going to ask them 3 times, are you my spirit animal? If you get a yes 3 times, then go ahead and start having a conversation. We want to ask them a question. What do you want me to know tonight? And as you get that answer, you're going to just ask them, go further, whatever questions you want to ask them besides what you want me to know tonight. Then we're going to, I'll bring you back. You can write down your thoughts. You can even share them when we come back. It's probably going to be maybe a 15 to 20-minute journey, depending on how my arm holds out. I hate to say that my biceps are giving me troubles this week. So I will try to make it in between 15 and 20 minutes. So if everybody's ready, let's get ourselves quieted and centered. And we're going to start by walking down our path to our wooden bridge. We'll see our fire pit to the right. We'll have our 7 seats. And we're going to take a seat and gaze into the fire. And our journey begins. coming and joining and playing with us today. Give him thanks and praise. And we're going to journey back across the footbridge, back up the footpath, and back into this reality. Take a few minutes to collect your thoughts, write down your experience, and your journey ends.
Wow. Yes, I understand that feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So questions, anyone? I will have to unmute you, or you can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. Looks like Norman's found his way free. Go ahead, Norman.
Good evening, Cam. How
Hi,
are
Norman.
you? I wonder, it's fascinated me for a long time, as you are doing the drumming to put the rest of us into our journeying mode, how do you stay out of the mode yourself?
I paid attention to my little black cat that was out the door wanting to get in. He's just pawing at the door going,
Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it.
No, normally when I do a journey for the class, I keep myself present
Mhm.
as a more of a guardian
Okay, good.
so that I see what's going on, and if I see someone being in distress, then I will, bring it out of the journey and bring that person back.
Mhm. Good.
Of course, with here, the only person I could see Kevin rolling his eyes.
He does
Not
that
really.
a lot.
He's giving his big old Google eyes because I know he can see Sela, so
Oh,
he could see me. So,
yeah, so,
but yeah, I usually keep myself out of the journeys when I do that. Even when I do our drum making class
mhm.
and we send him through the journeys, I stay guard.
Okay.
I was taught that at a very young age that I could sit here watching TV and go into a journey.
Mhm.
I can do it drop of a hat. I can do it whenever I need to, or I don't do it.
Mhm.
So that it's just a lot of people have trouble staying out of the journeys.
Mhm.
I do get messages, even though I stay out of it. I do get messages still when I do the drumming.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. Because I had Buffalo come up to me and say, "You're okay. You can be strong."
Beautiful.
Because I've been dealing with a lot of arthritis this last few months. And it just, like I said, with my bicep today, my arm's very weak. That he just said, "You can do it, be strong." So that's where I get and stay out of it. And I know you do a lot of journeying too, Norm, and I'm very honored to have you here with me tonight.
Well, I've been waiting for this, and I sent you personal messages
Oh yes,
about your
I
mom.
do. And I did watch the podcast
Yeah,
when
right.
my mother passed.
Yeah, well, that was just, she was so beautiful.
Yes, yeah,
Just absolutely marvelous. So,
it was.
thank you for sharing that with us, by the way.
Not a problem. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Should I get three-fourths of my, or one? No, 1/3 of my hair, or 2/3 of my heritage comes from my mother,
Mhm.
and then the other third comes from my father's side.
Mhm. Okay.
So,
Well,
and
it works good that way.
yeah, it's just they did for her. They did a very wonderful ceremony.
Mhm.
Fortunately, I wasn't there, but we're going to be doing going down, spreading her ashes, and then we're going to bring her up to Miramar Waterfall, and
Oh,
we're gonna.
nice.
I'm going to go out there and drum her into the falls.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep.
And
But I
that's-
appreciate all that you did in the
you're
support
very
that I
welcome.
had for that
You're very
too.
welcome.
And I know Janice said that she was starting to do some journeying classes. Norm here, he's got some very wonderful books out. I'm going to give you a plug here, Norman.
Thanks a lot.
His shamanism book. What was that first one that? Yeah.
Shamanism, what it's all about.
Huh?
shamanism, what it's all about.
Right. And what Norm wrote about, and this is how I connected with Norm, is that I grew up in Michigan and I spent a lot of my summers in Canada. And then I moved to Florida. And then I moved out to Arizona and then up to here. Well, his book did my life path. I've read 3 of his books, and they're only probably 3 books that I've read completely through.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So if you can find his books, they're very good, and you can really feel it yourself is there in his books.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've unmuted you, Janice, by the way, so you can go ahead and talk back if you want.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
So, did anybody have anything come up in their journey?
I also got be strong, and you are strong.
Mm.
And was that for you?
For everybody, but it was for me too.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get to meet your spirit animal?
Oh yeah, beautiful bear and very friendly.
Of course, bear energy, you know that comes in all the time.
And I could smell the fire burning.
Yeah.
And the windows are all closed here, and nobody has a barbecue anywhere. But it smelled like a fire pit, and it's like, oh, I could smell it so good.
Yeah, that's one of the good senses that you get when you journey is you may not always hear words or stuff like that, but you'll smell scents, or it may feel like somebody touches you. It really heightens your other senses. If I'm going to go into deep journey, I have an eye cover on so that I can actually be at like having my eyes open, but I'm in darkness. That's where I need to go into really deep journeying.
That's a good point, Cam. To be able to be in complete darkness with the eyes open.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I haven't heard too many people say that before, by the way.
Oh, it's
That's
hard for me not to journey when like I said, when I really need to go into deep meditating journey or do some healing on somebody, it's eye covers. I don't have to have the drumming, but the eyes have to be covered. And after a long time, it gets to the point I can just tap here and have that as my drum.
Sure.
I've learned to listen to the bass of any music to be able to send me into a shamanic journey. And that's just how a lot of my Chippewa family, where I learned a lot, is how we learned a lot of that, because back then, you didn't want to get caught doing shamanic work or anything like that, because it just wasn't cool back then to be, doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I had to hide it from my father a lot, because he did not want to be known as a Native American at all. And 1/3 of my Native American comes from him. Anybody else have anything? Norm, did you get anything?
Oh, yes, I did. This too shall pass, came to me. And it was brought to me by my sacred birds, the eagle. And they brought me here, by the way. And when I go out, they follow me, or I follow them. I'm not sure which way to go. But I thought that was very interesting that I was told that. Like you, I have a lot of shoulder problems.
Yeah.
And I get jabbing pains there. So I'm taking that as meaning that it shall go away. Well, that was wonderful. I hope.
We want it to go away.
You're darn right. So
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Kevin?
I didn't hear anything about that Kevin up there. He's been quiet.
Kevin,
I have to be.
Did you even get into a journey?
I'm sorry to say, I'm busy watching everything else that's going on in a little chat over here, and so I didn't get quite there. But I did have a comment on your talking about stepping out and being on the sidelines when you're doing the journeying. When I do hypnosis work, I find that I actually go into a state of trance, not quite the same as what you would be if you're in the journey itself, if you're actually doing the trance. But I actually go with my breathing changes. Everything slows. I go with them to a point. And I'm wondering if do you find that somewhat similar in your situation, or do you draw the line a little sooner than that?
It really depends on the day or what we're journeying for.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where I do a touch, what I call a touch journey. And that's where I might have my ankle touch their ankle or my knee touch their knee, where I have a connection to them. And I will then do the drum and go into the journey with the person. And there's sometimes I can see the person with me, and there's times that I can't.
Right.
It just depends on what that person's needing at that time. I don't ever really want to leave a room when I'm journeying from with another person, because I come into that protecting mode.
Right. Yeah.
So I it's almost like keep your enemies close, but yet at arm length.
Right.
So it really, like I said, it really depends on the situation that I'm in when we do a journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was one little bit that I picked up there that I thought was interesting, that there's some parallels and yet some differences in the way you approach it. So
yeah. And Norm probably can tell you too. There is, I mean, in every shaman and doing journey work, we all do it differently.
yes.
I mean, if we did it all the same, then what's the sense of all of us doing it the same? Just like with our energy healers and, our astrology readers and that, if they all did it the same way, then, we have to have that individuality.
Exactly. And it's it does, and it changes with the season, it changes with the circumstance, like you said. It can always be a little different. So anyone else have something to add or a question? I did put you back on mute there, Janice. I'm sorry. If you need to unmute, just let me know. Okay. So
I have a question.
Okay.
Did you make the drum that you're using tonight? How old is it? And its history?
Good point.
Let's see. I made this on August 1st, 2018. It is buffalo. It's an 8-sided cedar frame. Or is this 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's more than 8.
16-sided. I also have an 8-sided one. His name's Paco. And I did a cedar frame because of my biceps, because I did blow both of them out years ago. I also use a piece of driftwood as the beater, and it is a little bit larger because I have arthritis in my hands, but it's got one little notch here that I can hook my fingers in, but I have to be careful because one of my fingers is a trigger finger. Paco goes really everywhere with me. When I do drum making classes, he's the drum I take. When we went to Ocean Shores, did a drumming circle in August, he's the one I took down with me. I do have a maple frame 15 or 16-inch buffalo. Her name is Buffy, and she's older than Paco. And then my very first one is a 16-inch elk, and his name is Ed, and he represents the very first underworld journey that I went to, and my guide was an elk. So I did a representation for him, and that one is painted with a medicine wheel on it. Paco, he wants a canoe, but I haven't done it yet. And then Buffy gets a big bear claw, and Dakara, my partner, she found out that Centralia fur and hide is where I get my hides from. now has bear in, and we're going to order me a bear so I can have my bear drum.
Wow.
So I will have 4
Nice.
drums and be very, very happy with it. I mean, just a plug here. October 5th, we will be doing another drum making class or drum birthing. We're doing it in Everett at the Wings of Light studio with Tanya Christensen. It will be Takara and I and her being there. And we still do have some openings. And you can go to dakara.com/drum, and that will pull you right into the drum making website and see what we have there. So we are doing the drum making class on the October 5th, and I think it's in an evening time, like 5:30ish. So this is a little later one than what I'm normally used to. So we'll see how that plays out. But if you're interested, I know Kevin and Todd, they came down and made a drum with us. I've got several drums throughout Washington, and I also have one in Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I got 2 in Arizona. It's a wife and the husband passed. So there's 2 out there in Arizona, and like I said, they're all over the state here that we've done drum making classes with.
Yeah, mine is an 18-inch moose, and
Big heavy thing.
it has got a voice that is amazing. It just is deep and resonant, and oh wow. So yeah, I've been impressed with it from the beginning. As soon as I had the hardest.
15-inch moose.
What's that?
Todd texted, and I have a 15-inch moose.
Oh, I see.
He's doing more of the chat, so if you guys want to hear from him, down there in the chat.
Yeah, well, he can talk.
I know he can, but that's okay. I got him covered.
He just needs to unmute. So yeah, the voice on this thing, I could hardly wait the whole week that you have to wait for the darn thing to dry so you can actually touch it. And boy, when I did, it sang right away. And it's a good thing. It's a good one to have. So I always say, when you if you're thinking about doing or having a drum, definitely go make one, because it'll be something you treasure for a long time. And I finally get to put away the old Bowrin that I had, the Irish drum that came off the shelf and looks very commercial. So I don't have to use that one anymore. I said I had drum envy for many years, and now I don't. So
well, you did around the fire pit, and now you get to bring one and have it around the fire pit with us.
Yep, definitely.
And that's something we love to do, is have our fire pits and our drums. So any other questions?
Anybody? And if you don't see how to unmute yourself, just raise your hand or whatever, and I'll definitely get on it for you so you can be heard.
Janice, did you have any other questions, or were you able to journey?
Do you want to talk about
cool. Do you want to talk about it?
No, I saw my bear spirit animal. Also, it was a very jovial dark brown bear this time. He was kind of grooving to the drumming for a while, and then we danced a little bit, Then he got a little more serious, and he said, "I've got you."
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like our journeys tonight were more of what we need support for.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I've been getting that all week, and it's, oh my goodness. And what I'm finding, this is the encouraging part of it, I'm finding there's support pouring out of every window and door, and I mean, it's just like it's coming in from all directions. And it's, to me, it's so strange, because it hasn't been that way until this moment. It really has been just lately in the last probably 2-3 weeks. And all of a sudden there's been a huge shift in energy. And we're not done. We're not done with it. It's still going to go on.
No, and
So,
we'll probably never really be done with it. It will go on for the rest of our lives, but things will just change of how we do it.
well, and I mean, it goes in cycles, and there are times when it speeds up. The changes just kind of come one after the other, and we're in that situation right now. So that's what I'm.
Well, it was interesting. I've never done this before. And I saw several animals, and they really didn't talk to me. But the first thing that I saw was a golden cobra. You know how they kind of inch up and look up towards the sky. And then I saw a black cat, and then I saw a panther on like a limb of a tree or something. But then you know how cats will meow at you. It's like. Uh, I startled it or whatever, and it let me know it was there. Then I saw a golden retriever that was frolicking around, and the last thing I saw was a golden palomino, and it was grazing like in a meadow, and it lifted its head up and looked over at me, and then it went back grazing. So I have no idea what any of that means.
Interesting animals.
Yeah, I get the
Lot of
cats.
gold, lot of gold in there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can think about the black cat is I live out here in Forks now. I live alone. And it's been several months ago during the summer, but I was sleeping one night, and you know how you kind of drift in and out. And all of a sudden, I felt something jump up on the bed. And I opened my eyes, and there was this black cat. And I'm thinking, where did you come from? And I said to myself, everything is locked up. There can't be a cat in this house. And anyway, so it walked up towards, the pillow, and then it just kind of dissipated. And then it happened a second time. I had a black cat jump up on the bed, and then it too disappeared. I wasn't afraid. I just thought that was strange because I have no pets.
Mhm.
Sounds like
Uh,
the
I
companion.
would like to hear what can interpret that to mean.
Do what, Norm?
Can you give some interpretation as to what that meant for her?
The black cat?
Yes.
Well,
I don't think it's
no.
evil. I don't think it was
No,
bad
it's
at all.
not evil.
No,
because I have a black cat sitting here at
Yeah,
the
me
door
too, me
looking at
too.
me.
No, it just was fascinating that it was the one thing that reoccurred and everything else was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say more cats are very highly respected in the Egyptian culture.
Mhm.
So what I'm kind of getting and hearing from that is, I hate to say it, Gloria, but are you respecting yourself and honoring yourself?
well, I think I am, but it's interesting that you said Egyptian because I just completed a course in Egyptian numerology.
Mm.
And I've done numerology since 1978, but it's been the Western system, the Pythagorean. But I just recently got into Egyptian numerology. And I wasn't afraid when the cats jumped on the bed. It was just a strange feeling because you could feel the mattress, you could feel them jump on the bed, and when I opened my eyes, it's like there they were for a minute, and then they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened before I took the class, also.
Well, that
So,
might have been telling you that it was coming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
But I mean, I love cats. I'm a cat person. Um, honestly, it could be telling you that living alone might not be what it really wants to see. You might be in your heart's end of saying, I need a little companion to hang around with me, and it could be a cat.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see. I haven't. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't decided what I want. And I thought maybe next year I might get something, but I just don't know yet.
I have a feeling a cat's going to be coming soon.
Right.
Well,
Uh,
I know that animals do appear, and sometimes they just show up. And
Mhm.
if one did, I wouldn't have the heart to send it away. I know that. So
Right.
we'll just see what happens, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
I have a feeling if it happens a third time, it's gonna be a cat that's coming into your life.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It may be just one unexpectedly just shows up, and that's that.
Yeah, well, that could be.
Yep.
Because they're very, very wise, great hunters, loving, unconditional love is one thing about a cat. Um,
I've had cats before, and I really love them.
yeah,
The
you can
last
ask
cat
them if
I
they still
had
love you.
got away when I moved, and I never found it again. And I was really brokenhearted at that
Mm.
time because I just love that cat. But anyway, we'll see. My
See
life
what
has
happens.
just changed so much over the last few years.
Mhm.
So
And
I'm going to lean back on a little shaman expert that I know. And Norm, did you get anything about a cat on that?
Yes. There is
I
going to be, yeah, there's going to be another cat. The thing I think that was interesting is that cats are warmth, and that fits what you said. Maybe there needs to be some warmth in that household,
Yep.
Mhm.
other than Gloria being there herself. It's a completer. Can we use that word?
Yep.
okay,
I'll
Yeah,
let you
okay.
use that word.
yeah, a completer kind of thing. The other thing that fascinated me was the amount of gold.
Yeah.
And so that tells me that the light is going to shine in the right place for her.
Wow.
What do you
Well,
think? You think you agree with her?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
but I have to tell you, I moved out here 2 years ago, and since I've come here, everything has fallen into place.
Mhm.
And I took an apartment on a lease for 1 year. One evening, I couldn't sleep, and I camped on the sofa, and I had the TV on, and this commercial says military wives are eligible for a home loan. And I'm thinking, well, I'm a military wife. No, you're a widow. And then I thought, well, I'm still a spouse. And so I got up and I wrote down the number. And then later that day, I made a phone call to the VA, and I pre-qualified, and I was able to buy the home that I live in now. So, but people have been so wonderful here to me. And uh, I'm in a stage, I'm retired, I'm a widow, but I'm also going blind, and I'm losing more and more vision all the time. But people here have been so kind to me. And finally, we've been able to finish our book, which has been my pastime. And after a heart attack on my part and our other
Mm.
co-author, she had a year of many tragedies in her family, and Liz surviving the 2 hurricanes in Puerto Rico. We finally got the book published. So it's just been perseverance, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You can't give up, you can't stop, you have to keep going.
Well, that's true. I had no idea you all went through such turmoil. That's a lot to have all on one plate.
What I
And
keep getting there with that, Gloria, is more like the yellow brick road. There's a little goal.
Yes.
oh yeah, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Sounds like you're on the right path of what you need to do there.
So thank you, Cam, for this interesting journey and all your work and your workout. I know you got to work out doing that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But thank you. We'll do this again.
Okay.
All right. We'll
Yes,
wait till
thank you, Cam.
we can twist your arm. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Oracle Scroll. Please forward any questions, comments, or inquiries to theoraclescroll@gmail.com, and we'll look forward to entertaining you again very soon in the next episode.